Hello everyone, welcome to another screencast presentation. This is a continuation from my previous Enscape video where I showed a quick overview of the software. This is going to be a part 2 to that, where I'm just going to show some additional features and a little bit of resources that you can go and read about the software and coming features and things like that. So there's 5 things that I want to cover today, in no particular order. I want to look at sound sources that Enscape has. I want to take a look at something called the Export Web Standalone feature. Then I want to have a look at VR. Number 4 is going to be the asset library. And then the last thing is the development agenda. Okay, so these are the items that I want to take a closer look at today. So we'll start with sound sources. This is just a pre-created Revit file that I've previously created. So I'm going to come up here to my Enscapes tab. I'm going to come to sound. Okay, I'm just going to disable that for now. Sorry, that's how you'll find it by default. I'm going to hit this drop down and I'm going to select place sound source on selected face. Okay, the first prompt that I get is just to select a face that I want to attach this sound source to. So I'm going to select this roof over here. The second thing that I get prompted for is going to then be the specific location of the sound source. So I can click again to place the sound source down. When I do my second click, it's going to take me to this folder where I've got some pre-created files that I can choose from. Clap long, footsteps, restaurant crowd, and song. Okay, this one over here, I See Fire, this is a custom song that created and downloaded, and I brought into this folder over here just to show you that you can add your own sound sources to this location, right? As long as they are in one of these formats. So you have quite a wide variety to choose from over here, and you can get these sound sources from anywhere. But if you paste them into this directory, okay, you will be able to access them from within Revit. So that's where I pasted this IC file. So I'll just double click on that one just to show you that you can actually play a song. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the sound source that appears here in Revit to show me where it is. I'm going to select it and I'll see that I actually have Revit properties associated with it. So firstly I got this volume, which is just the max volume that this item will play at. Okay, I've got full volume distance sitting at 1 meter and 0 volume distance sitting at 20 meters. Alright, so full volume distance sitting at 1 meter means that when I'm 1 meter away from this object or closer, it's going to play at its maximum volume. Okay, and from 1 meter all the way to 20 meters, it produces a fade effect. So the closer you get to 20 meters, the fainter the sound gets. And then what 0 volume distance means is that as soon as you exit 20 meters, the sound source will not be able to be heard anymore. Okay, it's important to know that it actually doesn't switch off. Sound source continues to play, it's just out of range, so you cannot hear it. Alright, so that's just something that's important to bear in mind. Okay, and then what I need to do lastly is I need to enable the sound. Okay, so I need to select enable sound. Right, now I can go and start Enscape and I can take a look at what this is doing. So I'm going to head over here and I'm going to select start. Yeah, and in Enscape we are going to see the same situation as in Revit. So we'll see a little speaker sitting on top of that roof, signifying that there is a sound source there. So most likely we are going to start from more than 20 meters away. And since 20 meters was our 0 volume limit, we're not going to hear anything as soon as we enter into the software. Okay, which is true. I'm sitting at this distance away, however far I am away, but I cannot hear that sound source playing anything. Alright, so I can move around this file exactly as I normally would, okay, nothing changes, but as soon as I get to within 20 meters of that item, that sound is going to switch itself on. Okay, so I still can't hear anything yet. Still can't hear anything, and the closer I get, okay, now I can start to hear that music playing. And the closer I get to it, the louder it gets, the louder it gets, the louder it gets. Okay, until we get right up next to it, where this is the loudest that it will ever get. Okay, and again, as I move away from it, that's volume will get fainter and fainter. Okay, so this produces some very interesting possibilities and techniques that we could use. We could put a sound source into each room and have that be different. As you transitioning from one room to the next, you get a completely different environment in terms of sound. Okay, so it provides really nice life to your walkthroughs if that's something that's important to you and something that you're going to be doing a bit more of. Okay, so those are sound sources and just a very quick overview of what you can do with them. So I'm going to disable my sound again, and then I want to show you this export web standalone. Okay, this is very simple to use. I'm basically just going to orient myself to any location here in Enscape, go back to my Revit, and I'm just going to select that button, export web standalone. Okay, and in the interest of saving time, I have done this prior to starting this video so that I didn't have to wait for this process, because this process will most likely take 5 to 10 minutes to actually export and get ready. But what it's going to eventually do is it's going to open up a web browser where it actually goes into that same view that you were inside of Enscape. Okay, I was in a different view when I created this. Okay, but here in my web browser, I can still move around this Enscape project. Okay, I can go backwards and forwards and up and down, left and right, and all of those things. But it does have a few limitations. The materials and textures are simplified, so it doesn't look as good because you don't need a powerful graphics card for this. It's actually rendering it in the web. So that's also a really nice feature and a bonus, because what you can do is you can send this entire project file to someone and they can actually just look around it and explore it themselves without you having to send now a big file. All you have to do is send a link, because when you go back to your Revit project, okay, I'm going to cancel this because I have already done it. When you go back to your Revit project and you go to manage uploads in your Enscape tab and you select on web standalones, okay, this is where that web standalone file will actually live. Okay, again, it's just processing a bit here. I'm not really going to wait for that. It's not too important right now, but I just want to show you that that's where you can access it from. Okay, here they are. When you go there, again, it's going to launch the web version. Okay, and you can copy this link and you can just send that link to someone and they will open this on their screen. So it's really easy to use, very interactive, and it's quite a good solution to just allow them their own projects. Okay, the next thing we have is VR. So I don't have a VR headset with me at the moment or anything like that, but it supports the Vive, Oculus Rift. Okay, so those two. I do think it is available with Google Cardboard as well, if I'm not mistaken. But one of the easiest VR setups that I've really experienced. Literally just set up your VR equipment, plug it into your computer, and select enable, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so very, very easy to achieve, and just good to know that VR is actually available in the Enscape software. Okay, then we have the asset library. So this is quite a recent addition. If I select asset library, they've got some rendered items in here. Some furniture, some trees, some people and entourage and things like that that you can use in your Revit project to further embellish your Enscape model. Specifically Enscape. Okay, these don't show up as rendered in your Revit model, which is important to know. Okay, so you've got some really nice trees as well, which are a bit better than the library of trees that you get by default in Revit. So if I want to place down this couch, for instance, I can click on it. Okay, and I can place it into my Revit project. Press escape. It'll open up my little asset library here again, and I can just close that. Okay, so this is basically as rendered as it gets in Revit. Okay, but if I go across to Enscape though, it's a fully rendered item in Enscape. Okay, really nice quality, really nice texture, quite a lot of detail in here as well. You can see it's highly, highly detailed, gives it a really, really nice level of realism. Okay, if I go back to Revit again, just a side note, if I render this image, that item still looks exactly like it does right now. Okay, it does not render with Revit. So again, just want to show that that is a fully Enscape enabled item. Okay, it exists here in Revit, but it's not going to look any different to this in any of your modes apart from wireframe. Okay. Sorry. Remember what happens whenever you make a change in Revit is making a change to your Enscape as well. Okay, so we've covered sound sources, the standalone web, VR, as well as asset library. Then the final thing that I want to show you is just the development agenda. So Enscape has a very nice website. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the homepage over here. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in enscape3d.com. Okay, so you've got a lot of things that you can take a look at here. Gallery, it's got a community section where it's got a blog and a forum, but this development agenda is what I want to show you. It's just really, really nice. It lets you know a lot of information. It's what people are talking about, what things are coming, what they are currently working on. Okay, so they're working on integration with NVIDIA RTX as well as more asset browser content. So they're looking at expanding that asset browser list and giving more information. Okay, and here are the things that have been said by people. Now they listen to a lot of feedback as well, which is really nice, the Enscape team, and they take it into consideration, and they kind of show you where they're going, where the software is going, and what they're busy working on, which is really nice. So they do have full transparency as well, which, you know, you're always able to keep up to date very easily with what they're doing and what is coming in the future. Okay, again, thank you for watching. Just wanted to show you those quick things just as a part 2 to Enscape, because as in the last video I did mention, there was a lot of things that I can cover. There is still a bit more that I could go over, but I think that's going to be fine for now. Those 2 videos together do give quite a nice overview of the software. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And thanks for watching.